Good morning, South Middle School. Today is Friday, October 9th. It is the 18th day of our school year. The weather today is expected to be slightly warmer than yesterday, rising into the mid 60s and sunny. Over the weekend, on Saturday, it's going to be warmer in the mid 70s and windy, and then it's going to get cooler at the end of the long weekend. Barely touching 60 on Sunday and Monday, and there's a chance of rain on late Monday. So make sure that you are enjoying all your activities as early in the weekend as possible to make sure you can get them in. Please rise and recite with me the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now a moment of silence. Thank you very much. We have a number of birthday greetings today. We have 3 students with birthdays. Peyton Clower, happy birthday. Jenna Hamuda, happy birthday. And happy birthday to Olivia Elzuski. Over the weekend, we have special birthday greetings for Tiernan Larson on Saturday, happy birthday, and Frankie Mazzini, happy birthday. On Sunday, Ella Hanks has a birthday, happy birthday. And on Monday, the holiday, happy birthday to Jack Cohen. Monday is going to be a no school day, so you would have the opportunity to catch up on any asynchronous work, or if you have late work, or if you want to get ahead on anything. Of course, you would be able to do that, but teachers will not be assigning work on Monday. It is the holiday day. It's actually 2 different holidays on Monday. One is Columbus Day, which recognizes the achievements of Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus was an Italian man, an explorer, who was able to convince the Queen of Spain that he had conceived of a whole new way of envisioning the shape of the world. He convinced her that he used all the recent scientific and mathematical studies and convinced the Queen of Spain that the Earth was in fact round. Before that, in Europe, a lot of people had viewed it as being flat, and so they would stand at the western end of the continent and look east and see the world in front of them. And Columbus made the point that, well, if the world is round, there could be something on the other side, and was able to convince the Queen of Spain to sponsor him on a exploration mission, which he came across the ocean and discovered what he thought was going to be, in fact, China and India, but was, in fact, the thriving continent of North America. So this weekend recognizes, we often say that Columbus discovered America. Of course, we know that isn't true. There were indigenous peoples who were living here, and in fact, there's a lot of studies that the Vikings had come across the North Atlantic, before that. But there's no reason to take away from Columbus, because in fact his genius wasn't that he had discovered something by luck. It was that he had used math and science to deduce that there was a whole portion of the world that Western Europe was kind of ignoring and missing out on an opportunity. So kudos to his genius and also his ability to convince people to spend a lot of money on his brilliant ideas. The second holiday that is also recognized on Monday is Indigenous Peoples Day. This is often viewed as sort of a reaction to Columbus Day and the statement that Columbus discovered America, often by people who associate with indigenous tribes or who's have a heritage with the indigenous peoples, the Native Americans, often called the First Nations here. Personally, I don't know that it needs to be seen as something that's done in contrast to something else. I think that just as Columbus Day recognizes the genius of science and mathematics in Western Europe to realize that the Earth was round, despite all of the evidence that you might see with your eyes, Indigenous Peoples Day is a chance to recognize the ingenious of the many tribes and different peoples who lived here and had different ways of viewing the world, different ways of interacting with the natural world, what we generally call religions, right, and cultures. There was a whole host of different languages and a thriving culture here where different tribes had different ways of recognizing power and having a chief and having a governmental system. And then they had an active trade system between all the different tribes. So there was this wealth of cultural knowledge and opportunity that Columbus and the other explorers from Western Europe discovered and were able to celebrate. Not only that, of course, but the arts, the arts of the indigenous people who were in North and South America are something that we can all recognize and celebrate. A lot of that, tragically was lost, not only through acts of war and everything else as people were trying to colonize, but also through just the tragedy of when people came over from Western Europe, they had different immunities and different diseases, and some of those germs really wreaked havoc on the people who were living here, not necessarily by anyone's intention. So that's something that I personally think we could spend some time this weekend thinking about, is the ways that disease and interaction with other people are still putting us at risk these days. And, maybe this is a chance to think about science and mathematics and say, what kind of future do we want to lay out for ourselves? If there's people out there who have an inclination or a skill set in those challenging fields, maybe you'll be the person who creates a whole new way of either delivering medicine or preventing disease or whatever the case may be. So those are my ambitious goals, of course. No pressure on the students of South Middle School. But this weekend, I do hope that you'll take some time to think about the things that you are passionate about, just as Columbus was passionate about modern science and exploring the world, and the things that you celebrate and really want to cherish, just as the indigenous peoples cherish the natural world that they were living in and developing when the Western Europeans arrived as explorers and were absolutely wowed by their achievements. With all that in mind, remember today to be good to yourself, take care of each other, and take care of your school.